Social media has made us accustomed to sharing everything, from private matters to our deepest emotions, from mundane moments to our most sacred spiritual experiences. But did you know that this very act of sharing can be a double-edged sword? Not every secret is meant to be spoken. There are experiences that should be kept to yourself, not because they are unimportant, but because they are too powerful, too sacred. And if revealed the wrong way, they could unleash energies beyond your control. In the spiritual realm, there are unspoken laws of silence that the ancients faithfully followed. Things that should never be told, experiences that must not be shared, and knowledge passed down only in quiet whispers. Not out of superstition, but because spiritual energy is unlike physical energy. It is subtle, sensitive, and easily disrupted when misused or flaunted. In this video, I'll uncover for you the secrets that must never be spoken if you wish to stay spiritually protected, whether you're a seasoned practitioner or just beginning your path of self-discovery. Remember, not everything you know should be said. Some silences are a form of protection. Keep your mind still, your spirit calm, and join me as we enter a space of ancient taboos and hidden truths. There are things in this world too sacred to be spoken aloud. Words once released carry power. They create, they destroy, they invite, and they reveal. And for those walking a higher path, certain truths, when spoken too freely, can bring spiritual danger. In a world obsessed with exposure, silence becomes your shield. You might not realize it, but some of the things you say, or even just hint at, can become doorways left ajar through which the wrong energies walk in. If you've ever felt unseen, forces pushing back just when you spoke something deep, now you know why. You are not just a soul wandering aimlessly. You've been set apart, chosen for something greater. That sense of weight on your shoulders, the strange pull towards solitude, the unspoken knowledge that there's something within you not meant for public display. That's not paranoia, it's discernment. And if you're still watching, then you already feel it in your bones. Some secrets aren't meant to be told, not because they aren't true, but because they are too true, too powerful, too holy. Secret 1: not all wisdom is meant to be shared. Some revelations strike like lightning, brilliant, divine, and utterly disruptive. These are not mere thoughts. They're sacred downloads etched into the walls of your soul, meant to guide your unique path, not to dazzle your social circle. When you hand such radiant truth to those unprepared, they don't just miss its glow, they curse the glare. Your spiritual insights aren't fodder for others to critique or consume like entertainment. They're holy scrolls, crafted through divine pressure, designed to shape your destiny, not to be flaunted for likes or validation. Sharing them recklessly is like placing a crown on someone who only feels its weight, blind to its worth. The danger isn't just misunderstanding, it's distortion. Others may take the clarity you've been gifted and twist it into chaos. They might mock, dissect, or even weaponize your truth, not always out of malice, but often because they weren't meant to hear it. Ancient wisdom cautioned, do not cast your pearls before swine. Pearls are forged in pain, layered over time by a creature that knows suffering. Why toss them to those who can't see their luster or grasp their cost? If you've ever felt the sting of dismissal after bearing a divine truth, or the hollow silence of opening your heart to the wrong soul, you know this pain. These aren't failures, they're lessons. The more sacred the insight, the more selective you must be. A prophet speaks with purpose, not on demand. And you, whether you fully realize it or not, carry messages not for the masses, but for a divine mission. Practice spiritual discretion. Share only when your spirit stirs, not when curiosity beckons or approval tempts. Your insights are like ancient keys, forged for specific doors, not to be scattered on coffee tables or social feeds. Let them rest in your soul, undisturbed, until the moment they're destined to unlock arrives. This isn't about secrecy, it's about reverence. When you guard your revelations, you protect your spiritual authority, ensuring your words remain potent and pure. But there's a deeper layer to this truth. Not only your words, but the wounds you reveal can either empower or expose you. Vulnerability is a sacred currency, a bridge to connection, but it's also a doorway. Shared with the wrong person, it invites energies that drain rather than heal. The wounds you carry, your silent battles, your deepest fears, are not for public display. They're sacred ground, meant for those who honor their weight. In a world that glorifies oversharing, discretion is your shield. You've likely felt the cost of vulnerability misplaced, a conversation that left you drained, a confession met with judgment. These moments teach you to choose wisely. Your pain is not a spectacle. It's a testament to your humanity, a map of your resilience. Share it only with those aligned with your spirit, those who see your scars as sacred, not as leverage. As you learn to guard your revelations and wounds, you step into a higher calling. You become a steward of the divine, wielding your truth with precision and power. This is your spiritual armor in a world that doesn't always honor the holy. Stay with us as we explore how to protect these sacred gifts and walk your path untouchable. Are you ready to embrace this wisdom? Let's dive deeper. Secret 2 to carry light is to attract darkness. The moment you step onto a higher spiritual path, your life becomes a target, not only for admiration, but also for resistance, subtle, silent, and often unseen. Every chosen one, no matter how disciplined or anointed, has weaknesses. These cracks in the vessel are not shameful, they are evidence of your humanity. Yet exposing them to the wrong people at the wrong time can invite energies and intentions that are anything but healing. Vulnerability shared too freely is not always met with compassion. Sometimes it's met with appetite. In the spiritual realm, vulnerability is not simply emotional, it's energetic. To open yourself is to lower your defenses, and not every smile is sincere. Not every ear is safe. Some listen, not to support, but to gather, storing your pain, your fears, your doubts for later use as leverage. There are individuals, some unaware, others intentional, who act as spiritual siphons, draining you the moment they sense a crack in your armor. That's why discernment is essential. Not everyone is meant to witness your breaking points because not everyone carries the spiritual maturity to honor them. Protecting your inner sanctum doesn't mean becoming cold or closed off. It means becoming selective. Vulnerability is powerful when placed in the hands of the trustworthy. It becomes dangerous when offered to the reckless. Consider the way sacred temples were once built, surrounded by walls, entered only by the purified and guarded night and day. Your soul deserves the same reverence. Your emotional thresholds, your silent battles, your deepest confessions, these are not for general admission. They are for the inner circle, chosen not by convenience, but by spiritual alignment. Jesus himself understood this principle. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he didn't invite the multitudes into his moment of sorrow. He brought only a few, and even they failed to keep watch with him. This wasn't a failure on his part. It was a lesson for ours. Even among those close to you, not all will know how to hold space for your pain. So, be careful not to assume that proximity equals safety. Time reveals the hearts of men. Let silence be your filter until someone proves worthy of your truth. Energetic openness in unsafe environments makes your spirit susceptible not just to emotional harm, but to spiritual interference. There are unseen forces that operate through human vessels, seeking access through cracks left unattended. Doubt, fear, Insecurity spoken aloud in front of those who carry envy or spiritual blindness can amplify the very struggles you're trying to heal. What you speak becomes what you magnify. Guard your mouth in the presence of those who have not yet shown they honor your heart. And yet, do not let this make you bitter. Let it make you wise. Hold your vulnerability as you would a sacred scroll, tenderly, respectfully, and only revealed when the divine gives the signal. Your cracks don't make you weak, they make you real. But when guarded with discernment, they also make you untouchable. You are not called to bleed in front of crowds. You are called to heal in private, rise in strength, and speak only from the place of wholeness. Secret 3. Every soul emits a frequency, and yours, because of your spiritual path, vibrates at a different resonance. People can feel it before you say a word. It's not charisma, it's not charm, it's presence. And presence is power. But power, when unguarded, becomes prey. As a chosen one, your energy becomes a magnet. Not just to those who seek light, but to those who are drawn to it for all the wrong reasons. Some approach you with open hearts. Others come with empty hands and hungry spirits, not to grow, but to take. These interactions are rarely obvious. It may be a friend who always comes to you with their problems, but never stays to support yours. A co-worker who seeks your advice only to discard it. A spiritual seeker who flatters your insight, but drains your strength. They take your time, your energy, your peace, leaving behind fatigue and confusion. You tell yourself you're just helping, being kind, fulfilling your calling. But giving without discernment isn't service, it's self-sacrifice. And over time, the cracks start to show, not because you're weak, but because you've been feeding the uninvited. Spiritual parasites exist. They're not monsters in the dark. They're people with unresolved wounds, spiritual stagnation, or unconscious envy. They're drawn to your light, not because they honor it, but because they subconsciously want to consume it. The moment you feel consistently exhausted after a conversation, emotionally scattered after a meeting, or spiritually dulled in someone's presence, take it seriously. These aren't mood swings, they're signals. Your spirit is trying to tell you this person is withdrawing, not depositing. You are not here to rescue everyone. You are not chosen to become a well for every thirsty soul. Even Jesus, who carried limitless power, didn't pour himself out for every request. He withdrew. He rested. He discerned. There is wisdom in limitation. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's strategic. Every drop you give must come from overflow, not depletion. Say no when your spirit tells you. Set boundaries without apology. The people who love you will understand. The ones who don't were only ever there to consume. To feed everyone is to starve yourself. And a starved spirit cannot carry divine assignments. So be vigilant, recognize the patterns, feel the pull, and when necessary, step back. Silence is a response. Distance is a boundary. Guard your light, not out of fear, but out of understanding that it was never meant to burn for just anyone. Let it shine, but only where it will be honored, not harvested. Secret. For some people speak with authority, others simply walk into a room and the atmosphere changes. If you've ever noticed silence fall when you enter, eyes shift in your direction, or emotions stir without explanation, that's not coincidence. It's spiritual resonance. Your presence carries weight. It's not loud, but it's undeniable. It provokes, awakens, sometimes unsettles. As a chosen one, your presence is not just your physical body, it is your vibration, your inner frequency, the invisible echo of your spirit in motion. And because of that, it must be protected. Presence is influence, and influence, when unchecked, invites projections. Some people will project admiration, others will project resentment, insecurity, even silent hostility. You may never hear it aloud, but you will feel it. A chill in conversation, a heaviness in group settings, a sense of being watched but not understood. These subtle reactions are spiritual indicators. They tell you that your presence has been noticed, and not everyone responds with purity. When you walk as one who is aligned with the divine, you disrupt patterns internally and externally. That disruption can either lead others to healing or provoke resistance. That's why your presence must be treated like sacred ground. Being selective about the spaces you enter isn't arrogance, it's preservation. Some environments carry spiritual residue that clings to the sensitive soul. Spaces filled with gossip, chaos, jealousy, or spiritual dullness can quietly corrode your clarity. You may walk in with peace and walk out feeling drained, confused, or disconnected. Pay attention. Where you go, you carry your essence, and where your essence is placed, it either grows or withers. You're not meant to be in every room. You're meant to be in the right ones, where your presence is respected, not resisted. Solitude becomes your sanctuary. When the world becomes too loud, great spiritual figures withdrew, not out of weakness, but to renew. They stepped back to refocus, to realign, to breathe. You must do the same. Solitude allows your presence to recalibrate, your spirit to detox, your clarity to return. In quiet, you gather strength. In stillness, you remember who you are without external noise pulling at your identity. Protecting your presence sometimes means stepping away, not forever, but long enough to reclaim your internal harmony. You don't owe everyone your company. Presence is a privilege. It's an offering. And like all offerings, it loses value when it's given without thought. Be intentional with where you show up and who gets close. The sacred is only powerful when it remains set apart. Your presence is not ordinary. Don't treat it like it is. When you walk with the awareness that even your silence speaks, you'll stop entering places where your voice is required just to prove your worth. Secret 5. In a world obsessed with sound, opinions, commentary, arguments, explanations, silence is rebellion. It's not the absence of voice, but the presence of mastery. As a chosen one, your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It holds a weight few can comprehend because silence doesn't beg to be understood. It simply exists in power. When your presence is anchored in truth, you don't need to convince anyone of anything. Let others shout into the void. Let them demand answers. Your silence already speaks more than noise ever could. There are moments when speaking becomes dangerous, not because of what is said, but because of what it invites. Words are energy. Once spoken, they summon reactions, attachments, and spiritual ripples. Not every thought deserves to become a vibration in the world. Not every truth requires articulation. When you remain silent in the face of accusation, mockery, or spiritual ignorance, you preserve not just your dignity, but your energy. The world tries to lure you into explaining, defending, justifying. But those are traps for the unwise. The moment you engage in fruitless debate, you descend to a level beneath your calling. Look at the sacred example set by Christ himself. Before his accusers, he stood in stillness, not because he lacked truth, but because the truth doesn't argue with ignorance. His silence was a shield, a divine mirror revealing the futility of empty accusations. That same power belongs to you. You don't have to respond to every misunderstanding. Your alignment with the divine is not a debate. Let them talk. Let them guess. Their confusion is not your concern. Silence keeps you hidden when visibility would only invite harm. There is also a sacred mystery birthed through silence. In quiet, revelation flows. Answers emerge. Discernment sharpens. When the noise of the world fades, the whisper of the Spirit becomes loud. Silence is the language of heaven. It holds a frequency that connects you to divine instruction. Most miss it because they're too busy filling the air with noise. But those who embrace stillness find guidance that cannot be received through spoken words. Your silence becomes a tuning fork, aligning your spirit with the vibration of wisdom. When you learn to let silence speak for you, everything changes. Your authority increases. Your spiritual visibility sharpens, and your enemies lose access to your energy. Silence is not the absence of voice, it's the presence of sovereignty. Practice it not as avoidance, but as discipline. In a culture where everyone is broadcasting their souls, be the one who guards yours. Let your stillness unsettle, your quiet unsettle, your restraint reveal what noise tries to conceal. Because when you speak after being silent, the world will have no choice but to listen. Secret 6 Discretion is not secrecy born of fear. It is wisdom born of reverence. As a chosen one, not everything in your life is meant for display. The world teaches that visibility equals validation, that the more you share, the more you prove your worth. But spiritual maturity whispers a different truth. What is sacred must be guarded, not paraded. Your journey, your breakthroughs, your divine instructions are not entertainment for public consumption. They are the blueprint of your purpose, and blueprints are never shown to the world mid-construction. Every time you expose a divine moment prematurely, you risk contamination. Words spoken in excitement can be intercepted by ears unworthy of the message. Some may not intend to harm, but their doubt, envy, or misunderstanding can still disrupt the flow of what God is building in you. Think of your progress as a young flame. It flickers in early stages, fragile and needing shelter. When fanned too soon by external winds, opinion, expectation, commentary, it risks being extinguished before it fully becomes light. Your dreams need soil, not spotlights. Your revelations need roots, not retweets. Even in your relationships, discretion protects the sacred. Some connections are divine assignments meant to flourish in hiddenness until they are mature enough to withstand the world's scrutiny. When you broadcast every bond, every plan, every step, you make yourself vulnerable not just to people, but to spiritual interference. The unseen realm listens too, and every revelation made in haste becomes potential ammunition for resistance. Move quietly. Build privately. Let the outcome speak when the time is ripe, and you'll find that success born in silence carries more authority than any loud announcement. Holiness isn't just in your prayers, it's in your boundaries. When you treat your life as sacred, others begin to do the same. Discretion teaches the world how to honor what you carry. It creates a force field around your mission, one that shields it until it's strong enough to walk on its own. In stillness, you preserve your power. In quiet, you cultivate depth. And in discretion, you demonstrate to both the seen and the unseen realms that what you carry is too holy to be handled carelessly. Secret 7 spiritual power without emotional control is like handing a razor-sharp sword to a child. Brilliant in its potential, yet wildly unpredictable, capable of wounding both wielder and those nearby. The path of the chosen demands far more than divine insight or a sacred calling. It requires unyielding sovereignty over your inner world. Emotions, when left unchecked, can sabotage your clarity, distort your discernment, and throw divine timing into chaos. They are not your enemy. Emotions are messengers, not masters. To walk in true spiritual authority, you must become the governor of your emotional responses, not their prisoner. Without this mastery, even the most anointed can stumble, their power misdirected by the storms within. Mastery begins with awareness, a deliberate shift from being swept away by emotions to observing them with clarity. You must become a watcher of your inner landscape, not merely a participant caught in its currents. Anger, fear, sorrow, even joy. Each carries a message, a signal, not a command. Pause and ask, why am I feeling this? What hidden belief is this? Emotion exposing. The reaction is rarely the root, it's the fruit of something deeper. Is that frustration born from unmet expectations? Is that anxiety a symptom of clinging to control? By tracing the feeling back to its source, you loosen its grip. Awareness transforms emotion from a raging flood into a navigable stream. History warns us of the cost of emotional missteps, even among the chosen. Moses, a leader handpicked by God, lost his entry to the Promised Land in a fleeting moment of emotional rebellion. In anger, he struck the rock instead of speaking to it as God commanded. That single act revealed a heart not fully surrendered to divine will. The lesson isn't to fear emotions, but to dread what happens when they override obedience. Power anchored in the spirit can move mountains. Power driven by emotion shatters foundations. Emotional mastery unlocks a higher wisdom, a steady clarity that sets you apart. When you're no longer swayed by every offense, every compliment, or every crisis, you become a vessel for divine guidance, unshaken by the noise of the world. People will try to provoke you, some with malice, others unknowingly. Life will test your patience with challenges that feel personal. Even your own doubts will rise, clawing at your resolve. But when your emotions are anchored, your spirit remains clear, discerning distractions from divine assignments, redirection from reaction. You'll move with precision, no longer apologizing for outbursts or retracting choices made in emotional fog. This discipline amplifies your influence, radiating a quiet authority that commands respect without demanding it. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about directing them. Like a skilled conductor, you learn to guide the symphony of your inner world, letting each note serve the greater purpose. Emotional sovereignty doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful. It frees you to act from alignment, not impulse, ensuring your spiritual gifts shine undimmed. Stay with us as we dive deeper into protecting your divine calling through the art of emotional mastery. Are you ready to wield your power with precision? What did you think about today's video? Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If this video opened your mind or helped you see reality in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe to Top Hidden Knowledge so you never miss our next deep dive into mystery, perception, and the hidden workings of our universe. And if you have time, explore more videos on our channel. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and never stop questioning the world around you.